What is up, guys? Welcome back to Overspray. Sorry, it is freezing cold right now. Anyways, so we are continuing on with doing some body work on the other door, not this one, but the one next to it. So I need to rearrange this, and sorry I couldn't film even earlier. It's actually pretty late at night. So anyways, I couldn't film earlier because there's literally cops outside, and the cops were here earlier and they're still here. I don't know if you can see that cop car. So anyway, yeah, there's a whole commotion going on earlier, so I couldn't film. Too much noise and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, let's get to work. So we are identifying all the dents, as you guys saw in the previous video. We had identified all the dents with little circles. Not all of them are dents, some are just imperfection. For example, here, once the camera decides to focus, there you go. So you could see that there's chips, a little bit, tiny bit of rust there. So you could see that there's an imperfection there. There is paint chipping in this area. It feels like there's like a scratch or something going on right here. There is kind of a small scratch right here in this area. The main one that I wanted to focus on is this area right here. Not sure if you guys can see. Let me try to put a light on it. And there is a very minor dent there that I thought I would probably need the spot welder in order to fix that, but honestly it's like so minor you can't even tell. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is scuffing it up or sanding it, getting it the best I can, try to identify more of the dent of how big it is, and I'll show you how I do that with some sanding paper. And then, like I said, going around, there's a bunch of other imperfections and stuff. But the main focus of this video is going to be this dent right here. And that's what I'm going to try to focus on, kind of showing you how to identify the dent and, yeah, how to fix it as well. Alrighty, so let me go ahead and darken the image for you guys. So as you guys can see, we have identified the low. Basically, this has identified where this dent is, and it's right in this area, as you guys can see. So what I did was I grabbed a block. This is with some 180, just to kind of show you. And what I did was I just blocked this area because I knew that there was a dent in here. Block this area, and you can see that everything was low, or everything that is low will identify as a spot like this, and everything else that's level will basically look like the sanding scratches, as you can see right there. So we have identified where our dent is, and now we know where what area we need to attack. So I'm gonna go ahead and start preparing the rest of the door. I got a lot more little dents I need to identify as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do all those, and then yeah, we'll come back to it. All right, now before I begin, I'm gonna go ahead and use my little snap-on sander. This is a sander and a polisher, so you could literally change the pad on it and it could become a polisher if you want it, a little mini buff, if you will. What I'm gonna end up doing is for the little deeper dents, I'm gonna go ahead and go down to bare metal. This primer likes you to prep the surface to bare metal. And not in all cases though. I'm going to glaze some of the other smaller chips and small, very minor dents. I'm gonna go ahead and glaze those, and yeah, on the bigger dent I will go down to metal, put some body filler on that, get that all squared away, and then we'll start sanding. So let's get to it. That was a lot. So as you guys can see, I also took off the adhesive that was here for the molding. That stuff, yeah, it's a pain in the butt to try to take off. Luckily, I have that rubber wheel, made it easy work. So yeah, but it's still a pain in the butt because it gets everywhere. You can see it's just like, you know, it just turns into like powder basically. So anyway, so I went ahead and took all that off, also sanded a bunch of the little spots that I'm gonna put body filler on. So these are not exactly dents, these are actually like little chips and stuff that I want to fix. So I went ahead and sanded that area. I still got a little bit more sanding I got to do here. I missed this one, but you can see I kind of went around and sanded all the spots that I needed to sand. Still got a little bit more to go, but the main one that I wanted to focus on is this little guy right here. You can see that guy is I went down to bare metal on this one. Now typically if you're going to go down to bare metal on a whole panel, you want to, well, it's recommended that you go to epoxy primer. You don't need to go to epoxy primer on this particular case. I could literally put body filler in this area, sand it, and then put a primer on top of that. This particular body filler that I'm using is U-POL. You guys see right here. So this is actually U-POL Fantastic Body Filler. It is a lightweight body filler, and it's also easy sanding. They do recommend going from anywhere for surface prep, they recommend 80 to 180. So basically anything between 80 and 180 you can use to prep the surface on this. I only went down to bare metal just because I wanted a good foundation for adhesion for the body filler. Now typically you don't have to go to bare metal with the body filler, but in this case I did. But some of the other little body fill, some of the other little dents, I'm not gonna body fill. I'm probably just gonna glaze them because they're super minor. And all the little chips as well, I'm gonna go ahead and glaze those as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing up some body filler. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some, and then, but before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the panel because you guys can see that it's, yeah, it's got a lot of rubber on it. So let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll cut you back in when I start doing the body filler. guys, I had the camera facing down on the ground, and I didn't end up noticing it until I already put the bog or body filler on the car. So literally, you guys probably saw the ground for the whole time. That's okay. I'll probably end up changing the edits and stuff like that. But anyway, so I went ahead and grabbed all the major spots. You could see all the every which way, all the little dents. I did miss a couple little chips, but that's okay because I'm going to be doing some glaze on those. But all the more major stuff, I went ahead and put some body filler on. And you can see down here, went ahead and put some body filler on the dent that went to bare metal. So went ahead and bogged that. Now it is pretty cold right now. I would say it's probably in the mid 40s. It's very, very cold. So it's taking some time for the body filler to actually completely dry. Hello, there you go. So it's taking a little bit for the body filler to completely dry. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put some heat on this thing with the infrared heater, and then come back tomorrow night, which is going to be Friday night, and I'm going to go ahead and sand everything that I need to sand. More than likely I'm going to sand it all with the DA, or at least mostly done with the DA, and then the spots that I do need to block out, I'll do it with the block. Or what I'll end up doing is probably blocking out the spots that I need to block first, get all that taken care of, and then sand the whole thing with the DA, and then get everything kind of prepped for primer, because everything else is so minor that I can literally just primer this door, and yeah, it'll basically be covering up all the little chips and stuff like that that this thing actually has. So yeah, it's pretty cold. So let's go ahead and put some heat on it. What is up? All right, so today is the second night that I am working on the car. Went ahead and let the primer basically dry overnight, and it has been raining often. I don't know if you guys could see outside, but it's all wet out there. It is freezing cold today. Maybe not for some of you guys that live you know, up north, or you know, like in Canada and stuff like that, but it is probably, I would say, about in the 40s tonight. I think it's probably around 42 or 45 degrees, somewhere around there. It's been raining for the past couple days as well. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to spray primer on this thing tonight, just because the humidity is super high and it's just very, very cold. Not only that, my primer is also waterborne base paint, or waterborne base primer. So it would take super long for it to dry. Anyway, and since we're in a garage, it just wouldn't make sense to do it tonight. But it is supposed to warm up in the next 3 or 4 days or so. So I'll probably spray primer on that some other night. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and sand down all these Bondo spots, or body filler if you want to call it that. And yeah, and get this thing ready for primer. So I just did a quick buzz and a quick block with on the DA I was using a 150, and then when I switched to the block I was doing a 180 because I don't have any 150 for like a stick on. But anyway, so you can see that I knocked down a lot of the body filler spots that were all over this thing. I still have a couple spots that I need to glaze. I don't know if you guys could see right here on this edge. There's like an edge right here. It looks like at one point it had some sort of like door edge protection, like, you know, some of those plastic, I don't know what they call it, but anyway, it sits right on the edge. After a while, it looks like it kind of like dug into the paint, and everywhere where there is a little bit of that edging, you got kind of a low spot right there. So I need to spread some glaze on that. That should be taken care of. We've got a couple little nicks and stuff, but that's okay because that will be filled up with primer. I thought that was a low spot for a second, but it doesn't. I guess well, it might be a low spot. Maybe not. I think it was just a shadow or something. But anyway, quick buzz. This thing is almost ready to go. Also, I started sanding this edge right here. It was really badly sunburned. Let me see if I could find a spot where I can show you. See that? Pretty much where the clear coat was starting to flake. So I sanded most of this area right here. I still got to do some more sanding. But yeah, I was sanding up here. But it is an edge, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to an interface pad and buzz that real quick, and then also spread some glaze on that door. Let that dry, sand it one more time with the block, and get a couple other spots done. And this thing is damn near close to getting primer on it. Like I said, it's not going to get primer tonight. It's just way too cold. Let me see how cold it is. Right now it's 55 degrees on my little temperature deal. I don't know if you guys could see that or not. It says 55, but outside it's like 45. It is a little bit warmer in here because I have the compressor running, so it is warming up a little bit in here. But yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on with the sanding, and yeah, and that's what I'm gonna be doing. So I ran into a little snag, guys, with my glazing putty. I'm not sure why, but it seems like almost like it's drawing inside the container. Because when I try to use it, it's kind of like almost like it's already hardened, but it hasn't been mixed yet, which is kind of odd. Now it is it just hit 53 degrees right now. And the bottle does say, or the container does say, to use in temperatures over 68 degrees. So I think when this stuff gets too cold, it ends up starting to, I don't know, like harden, I guess you could say, or pre-harden. I don't know what you would call it. But anyway, I ended up having to glaze a couple spots, glaze the end of the door here on the center, down there, and a couple spots I think right here and right here. But the glaze kind of went on kind of just not right. it's not right. I've never seen the glaze do that before. So I just think because it's too cold that the glaze is not a little bit more runny, I guess you could say. It's got a weird consistency, but I think it's just due to the cold. So what I have going on here is I put on my heater. I got the heater pointing to the door in order to kind of harden or warm up that body filler. And yeah, it's a little bit of a snag, I guess. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and continue on throughout the night. And I think I'm going to cut this video a little short tonight just because I am running out of time. I know it's taking me a long time to get these doors ready for paint, and at least for primer in this stage. But you got to remember, I work a night shift. So by the time I get home, it's about 8 o'clock. And I try not to make noise past 10 o'clock. Just, you know, for the sake of other neighbors and stuff, so that they don't complain, which I haven't got any complaints yet, knock on wood, or metal, I guess in this case. Haven't had any complaints about noise or anything like that, but I try to make the minimum noise I can possible. And what I was going to say with that is, basically, I don't have a lot of time to work on it. I literally work on this thing probably about an hour or so, and then I quit, and that's one night, and then it'll be another night, and I'll work for another hour or so, and then so on and so forth. So this is why it's been taking me so long to even get this prepped up, because, you know, I kind of do this on my spare time, and it's kind of hard when you work a night shift. So yeah, so that's going on with that. That's what's going on with that. But anyways, I'm gonna let this dry. It seems like it's gonna take a while to fully cure or fully flash, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna take my time with the sanding. I think I'm gonna cut it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Stay spraying. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye. Alrighty guys, so I ended up staying in the garage a little bit longer than I anticipated, and I got most of the body work completed on this thing. Took care of all the little dents and with body filler or glazing putty, whatever you want to call it. Went ahead and sanded it all nice and smooth with the block. Took care of a lot of the dents that were here. Still need to go over everything just to make sure everything is nice and flat. I do feel a little bit of something here. Let me see. It could just be dust. Yeah, that actually feels okay. Okay, I think we're good there. Anyway, so I wanted to get this thing in primer, but it's just too late for tonight. So anyways, that's the stopping point that I ended up stopping in the garage tonight, just because it's a little late. It's probably about midnight right now, and it's just way too cold. It's about 50, hang on. Right now it's 51 degrees right now in the garage. It's just too cold to paint or even do body work, really, because the glazing putty and the body filler were just not drying, and was just taking really long to get that body work to fully dry. So anyways, I'm gonna cut the video here. It's a little short, I know. Sorry about that, but just the weather that I'm dealing with right now is making it really hard to do any body work and primer on this. But when I do go spray primer on this, which should be pretty short, I'll do another video showing the spraying of the primer on both doors, and then we will commence in another video after that with the paint and clear. All right, stay spraying. Catch you guys on the next one.